if you remember very well, one thing that we have said about engagement letter, it's a what? A contract. So if you know it is a contract like that, and it establishes a contractual relationship, then you know it contains what? Terms and conditions. Then therefore you should know we only revise a contract when the terms and conditions have done what? Have changed. And that is what we want to introduce here. We are going to revise this particular engagement letter when we revise the contract terms. And one of the contract terms is what? Let's try. This one. Changes of duties or scope of auditor's work. Changes of duties or scope of auditor's work. So if yesterday we were giving the auditors the only work to do auditing, today we are telling him we are going to give you additional responsibility. That change in scope and responsibility of an auditor will call for us to change the what? The engagement letter. So we have to change the engagement letter whenever an auditor is given a new responsibility. Whenever there is change in the client's company, for example, the size of the client. So if yesterday you were auditing only one company, and that company was maybe ABC Limited located in Nairobi, but today they have opened perhaps major companies in all the cities within Africa, then they have increased in size, and that one will call for us to go ahead and change the what? The engagement letter. If there is what we call changes in legal terms, changes in legal requirements. Legal requirements are the law requirements. So if I was doing an audit, but now the law has changed, then I have to do an audit in compliance with that particular law. And therefore, any change in law that can maybe affect the auditor will call for the auditor to change the what? The engagement letter. Did you know that the auditor signed a contract with the shareholders as well as the directors who are there in the organization previously? So which means if they change, the auditor will go ahead and request for a new engagement letter. So we say changes in ownership of the company. Ownership of the company. So if you're auditing a company today, but now the shareholder who was called A has changed to B, then automatically you need to go ahead and consider now changing that particular engagement letter because the terms of A are different with the terms of B. This is almost similar to this point of changes in management and governance structures. This is what I mean. If previously you are working with 3 directors, but now all of them have been sacked and they are new directors, then you have to come and discuss new terms with the new directors. That will affect maybe the what? The revision of that particular letter. Something else that is going to call us for the revise of this letter is whenever there is change in accounting standards, we call them international accounting standards, and auditing guidelines, auditing standards. So if a new standard has been introduced in the what? In the environment of auditing, then it means we have a new responsibility to comply, and that we request for an auditor to go ahead and change the audit engagement letter. You can also change this letter if the management of the company changes in audit fees. If today they were paying you maybe 5,000 per hour, but tomorrow they are telling you, no, today we have to change maybe to 3,000 per hour, then that is the changes in audit fees. And that is a good ground for changing that particular what? That particular letter. You can also change this letter after every 3 years. After every 3 years. In a company, you can't tell me that after 1 year the company has not yet changed. It has changed so much. After 2 years, it has also changed. After 3 years, the company has changed tremendously. And that requires maybe the auditor to go ahead and change the terms of the engagement, which are contained in the engagement letter. So those are some of the issues that will call for the change. Remember, this is not the whole list of the reason why the auditor should change the environment, the engagement letter. But you can look for anything called changes. If an auditor changes in this, if the client changes in this, if there is changes in this, then we have to go ahead and change the what? Or revise the engagement letter. So let me repeat that again. When we are revising the engagement letter, we need to revise the engagement letter whenever we have changed the duties, change in company size or growth, legal requirement changes, changes in ownership, changes in management, changes in auditing and accounting standard, changes in auditing fees, changes after each and every 3 years. Those ones are supposed to be the reasons why we have to revise the engagement letter.